Hello and welcome to the video. So, I know what you're thinking. Mo, your hair looks different. Well, it's because I got a perm, and depending on which one you prefer, let me know in the text messages. Do you prefer straight hair Mo or curly hair Mo? I prefer straight hair Mo, but it's about 7 people prefer curlier, and about 3 people prefer straights, including me. And I also know what you're thinking. Mo, why are you wearing a vest? This isn't very professional. Well, I want to see my muscles. So yeah. So yeah. Today we'll be covering vocals in public speaking because it's something that's important. It's something that's a little bit more advanced, but hopefully, if you've been watching the videos, uh, you'll have learnt how to utilize pauses, how to utilize all these techniques, and then use your vocals to engage the audience. I'm also very sorry because I can't seem to get the window to actually capture the proper PowerPoint slideshow. Yeah, so we'll do it like this. Vocals. Why do vocals matter? Well, depending on how you use your voice, you can greatly influence or bore a room. And during public speaking, the crowd really doesn't listen to every single word you say. They're spending time trying to process the previous sentence you just said and or trying to figure out what you're going to say next. And this happens consciously and unconsciously in our brains. Chances are when you're doing a speech, if the person you're looking at or the people you're looking at, if they're 100% and 110% engaged, like looking like, chances are they're really engaged or they're faking it. I don't really see an in between with most people. However, a good speaker can effectively use their voice to convince an audience even if the subject matter is boring. And hopefully we can explore that today. So the easiest way to master vocals. You have to speak about something you actually care about. Because I think it's very easy to differentiate between someone who is sad and someone who is pretending to be sad. And it is the same with happy, pretending to be happy. When you talk about something that actually has vulnerability, actually has emotion, actually you think will have good value for people, that's when you don't need to care about your tone and your vocals because it comes out naturally. When someone's really excited, they're smiling, they're speaking in a higher pitch, they're speaking faster. Whereas when someone is sad, they're quiet, they they make space of the room, they pause for longer. So I think if you're going to talk about something that you're very passionate about, you have a very high emotional attachment to, don't worry about vocals. They'll come naturally. But I know what you're asking. But Mo, how do I use vocals on something I don't care about? Like if I'm talking about something I don't give a crap about, how am I actually supposed to like utilize vocal techniques? Well, you have to first start off loud. You have to ensure that everyone in the room can hear you. Because when you're loud, it tells everyone to wake up. If it's a happy speech, you should be fast, you should be smiling, you should be energetic. If it's a sad speech, you should use a room, utilizing pauses, and somewhat being slow in how you speak. Typically, I also find that when people are happier, they're speaking in a higher pitch, and when people are sad, they're speaking in a lower pitch. When you're going to talk about something important, raise your voice a notch higher than baseline to essentially tell the crowd, wake up, this is important. Alternatively, if it's something where you've been quite loud during the entire speech, it's actually very effective to go a notch down, where you're essentially forcing the audience to open up their ears to hear you. And it's used a lot in sales as well, not even just in public speaking. When you're trying to sell something to someone, many very good salespeople, they will essentially go, so these features have X, Y, and Z. But just between me and you, they're also going to implement this in the next couple of weeks. When these salespeople, they utilize vocal variance, tone variance, it makes the prospects most of the time listen and also engage. So when you vary those two, you'll see gains. I made up on the spot. So yeah, and salespeople, yeah. So yeah, there's a new thing. So you shouldn't be saying salesmen, it's salespeople. Yes. Yeah, just to be, what's the word? Uh, what's the word when you support everyone? Yeah. So during presentations, when in a classroom, starting off somewhat loud is good because it tells everyone to shut up and listen. And not in like a rude way. It's more in a way where whenever you're doing a classroom presentation, someone is presenting in front of you, you're about to present. You're not listening to the speech. No, 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 my friend. I know both of us. We're typing away on our PowerPoints because we haven't done them. So it's very important to know starting off somewhat loud will tell the room that, hey, I'm starting. Please be quiet because obviously they're going to be talking in front of their groups, and also to potentially just listen. When in a business meeting, I believe it's somewhat good to be firm. And this is because, especially like whenever there's lots of people in the room uh, who all want to say something, when you start off saying with like one of those filler words like, so, okay, sure, this tells the room that you are going to say something, you have something important, something valuable to contribute, and hopefully everyone in the room listens to you. Whereas, remember, let's say we're in a room of like 6 to 15 people doing a business presentation. With a soft, okay, so that I think will essentially guarantee that not everyone will hear you. It's not that people are being mean, it's that they just won't be able to hear you, and potentially unconsciously they won't truly understand your value, which is why I like tell my mentees start off loud. During these situations, you don't need to care so much about vocal variance because the room will most likely be quite small. So, but things like, so blah 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 blah, but blah 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 blah, right? You want to go like a notch higher, just for like a half a millisecond, because it basically just tells the room, hey, I'm going to say something important. And also, okay, so sorry, there's a swear word here. I'm teaching this to my mentees. Obviously, they don't care about swearing. But yeah, so don't pause for too long because some people are mean and they interrupt during class or business presentations. And sometimes it's because they have a very important point to say. Other times it's because they're just quite mean. They've never been told to like let people talk. And whenever, let's say I'm gonna say, so I think this is important because it allows us to do this. Sometimes someone will interrupt right after your because you paused. So you need to just know, you need to practice a bit, know who's in the room, and know when to use the pauses properly. And yeah, so that is basically up on vocals. Here are some table topics you guys can practice in front of a mirror. Hopefully it pauses and doesn't go blurry. There we go. And yeah, vocals aren't too important because I do believe when you talk about something that you're emotional about or you have passion about, they come out naturally. But my mentee, so let's talk about Tobias. Tobias, he talks about at a 6.5 out of 10 when he's speaking. But he struggles going up notches higher and notches lower. And so what I told him to do is, do I have a pen? No, I don't. So let's imagine a graph like this. This is you speaking, and you know in about 5 seconds you're going to say something important. You don't know what words you're going to say, you just know that you're going to say something important in the next 5 seconds. So what works with Tobias is he knows that if he talks at 6.5, in the next 3 seconds, he's just going to go to a 7 and then back down. It doesn't matter what word it is, but just because he goes up to that, it lets him use his vocal variance. Same with going down. If he knows that he's going to potentially tell a secret or something that he wants to make the audience engage with, go lower. But obviously, you have to be you have to do it for like 3 seconds when you're going lower. So yeah. And then we have also my other mentee, Cheska. Cheska is very interesting. Cheska is very quiet. And it's at a point where, compared to me, where I speak at a, let's say, my normal voice is a 7 out of 10. I'm quite loud. Cheska speaks at about a 3.5 to a 4. When I make her start off loud, she speaks at a 5. So she's a naturally quiet person, potentially shy, that sort of stuff. And so what really made me like really impressed about her progress was when she did go loud for that half millisecond. She had weight and impact on the room, and that to me is quite impressive. And I believe if you are someone who is a little bit shy, you're quite quiet, that half millisecond of you going louder is something that is incredibly valuable to your speaking in the future. So yeah, is that it? Yes, that is it for the video. Hopefully it recorded unlike last time. Thank you very much and see you later. I'll stop this. I lost my mouse. Oh.